Hi, this is Faith with the second video in what will now be a video series here in Dubai, and this video is brought to you by Read Between the Minds, an educational access nonprofit organization where we believe that we can help more people reach their full potentials and increase their educational attainment if we stop writing people off and start reading between the minds. So, I am in Dubai in the same spot I was last time, just on the track of American University in Dubai. And I just want to talk about how I got funding to study abroad here and how I got funding to study abroad before. Um, and so I studied abroad in summer 2014 in Morocco through the School for International Training. It was a really fun time. And I'm studying abroad in all of these places because I'm learning Arabic. My degree from Harvard will be in economics and Arabic. And so in terms of studying abroad in Morocco, I actually got funding through the Gilman scholarship, one that I highly recommend. It's a scholarship that they provide to students who I think you must be studying a critical language. But I know another girl who had the critical language scholarship. I'm sorry, not the critical language scholarship, but that's another one I'm going to talk about. But had the Gilman scholarship while I was there, and I think she was beginning Arabic. I think I was in the equivalent of my third year in Arabic. But I think anyone who is interested in studying one of the high need languages, I think is able to get the scholarship. And the great thing that I like about the scholarship, as opposed to ones like critical language scholarship, which are also amazing, and I'll talk a little bit more about, is the scholarship allowed you to use the funding to participate in whichever program you chose. For me, that was important because I kind of still wanted to do an internship, even though I was mainly going to be learning a language. And so I chose this program through SIT, School for International Training, that allowed you to get an internship for 3 weeks, and then for the rest of the time you were studying Arabic, and throughout those 3 weeks you were studying Arabic. And so that program, the fact that I did the Gilman Scholarship instead of trying to do something like the Critical Language Scholarship, another State Department fund, allowed me to choose a program that wasn't necessarily the way that what a program directly set up by the State Department would have been structured. Now, in terms of the Critical Language Scholarship, I've never done it, but it seems amazing. It is definitely for critical languages, whereas Gilman, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. And the thing about this program, the Critical Language Scholarship, is that it is very much holistic, and the scholarship comes with the program. And so with being admitted to get the scholarship, you're admitted to this program where you study abroad and they pay for your flights. You're put into a certain country, like with a cohort. I think the Arabic-speaking countries we can go to now are Oman, Jordan, and Morocco. And the program is great in that, you sign a language pledge, and so all the students are required to speak Arabic the entire time, which is something that, I personally have always been interested in that, but it's not something where I'm just going to be in a place like Dubai, hey guys, let's force ourselves to speak Arabic, especially because it's Dubai and English speaking. A lot of people choose the program because not everyone speaks Arabic. And this goes for other critical languages, whether they're a big range of languages, Farsi and other, I think Mandarin may be on the list, and just checking out that list. And so that was my first time studying abroad in Morocco. The following summer, I actually tried to get an internship, and I got rejected from everything. And so kind of a little bit late in the game, I applied for a program that was through the Foundation for International Education, which is a foundation in London, and they were partnering with Drexel University that gave the credit, and a Mid East, which was their partner in Jordan, where we also went through this program. And this program took us to London, places in Northern Ireland, including Belfast, and then Jordan to study peace and conflict resolution. And so we spent, like, I believe it was around 3 weeks in London learning peace and conflict resolution. It was really cool. Like, our professor was someone who was part of negotiations for the Northern Ireland conflict, and then we went to Northern Ireland for 3 days or so. And then we went to Jordan for the next 3 weeks, and so that was a 6 week program. And then if you wanted to, you could stay on for additional 3 to 4 weeks, I think, to learn Arabic. That summer I actually decided not to stay on and learn Arabic, and then instead I actually went back and studied at the London School of Economics. And again, both of those programs were funded. And I actually funded them using the Ron Brown scholarship that I had. And so I think one thing to just check on is to see, A, what funding your universities have. I applied too late to get Harvard funding. But then B, if you have any external sources, like some of them, they don't even have to be specifically for study abroad, but you can use scholarships you have throughout the year, and if you have funds left over, study abroad with them. Or you can apply to scholarships that are specifically for, like, university in general, and then see how you can use it to actually study abroad, which is what I did. And so with that, I ended up going to the United Kingdom and Jordan. And then finally, now I am in the United Arab Emirates, and I am studying through the William Jefferson Clinton Scholarship through the Clinton Foundation. And so this scholarship covers tuition and I think room. And then gaps are filled by Harvard Financial Aid. And so that is how I've studied abroad in 4 countries. If you want to do United Emirates, Jordan, Morocco, and England, or / United Kingdom, or 5 if you want to do like England / Northern Ireland. And then I think in terms of making this into like a general travel video, I would just really highly recommend, once you do these things, like, especially if you have funding, figure out how you can use that funding to travel. Like what I did, for example, is one of my scholarships, they would cover my flights to and from the place. It unfortunately wasn't one of those scholarships that just gives you a lump sum of money and like, hey, just do what you want, which the Gilman scholarship is, but the way that they ensure you're like doing what you're supposed to do with it is it's pretty much an accurate amount to what you need. But the scholarship I had, the Ron Brown, when I used it to study abroad in summer 2015, the way they do it is they pay for your flights, for example, to and from London. What I did was, if I found a flight that was, let's say, round trip $700 to London, right? And then I found a different flight that was like $500 round trip to Berlin, and then another $50 round trip between Berlin and London. I would travel to Berlin, get to enjoy the city for a bit, and then travel to London. And so I actually did it as 2 separate flights. So my scholarship that only paid for me to get to and from the place where I was studying abroad also paid for me to go to Berlin and meet up with some friends on the way in, and then stop in Amsterdam on the way out. And the thing is that, like, as much as I finessed the system, I also did not make them pay anymore. It was actually cheaper because I just used the Google Flights option, which I think is amazing, and there needs to be a senior thesis on it, where you can just see where's the cheapest place to fly into in Europe, and then, like, look at the place and see how cheap it is to then fly from that place to where you need to end up. Or if it's like, now that I'm in the United Arab Emirates, this weekend we're actually driving to Oman. And we actually have to do this because what we're doing is, instead of getting our student visas, which would cost like $1,000, we're staying on the tourist visa that allows us to only be up here for up to 30 days, but then we're just leaving every 30 days and traveling. And like, flights to Beirut are about $130 round trip. With all that said, I think something that's relevant and I wanted to talk about anyways is, like, as you know, our president, or at least my president, whether I support what's happening or not, the president of the country I'm a citizen of, just instituted a ban on 7 Muslim countries. I mean, I think it's something that I've learned a lot about being here in Dubai in a way that I wouldn't have learned in the U.S. I think not being in the U.S., I'm able to put it to the back of my mind because I'm not there, like, seeing my friends down the street protesting at airports. And hopefully I'd like to think it's something that I'd do if I were back in the U.S., but I am seeing people who are, like, Syrians who are here in Dubai with relatives in the U.S., and they're just kind of talking about, well, it's actually pretty hard for Syrians to get visas to the UAE as well, and so now they're going to try to their family that is, for example, studying at NYU, if they can't stay in New York, they're going to stop their studies and try to apply to be refugees in Canada, but it's also going to be more complicated for them because Canada may say that, hey, you have family in the UAE, so why don't you go there, not realizing that the UAE is also pretty difficult for Syrians to be able to enter. And so those are the things that I'm thinking a lot about while being in a Muslim country, and one where people were not banned, fortunately. And I think it's more so thinking about it in terms of what other people are going through. But then, if that's not enough to make you care, it's also like something that impacts study abroad. Because, for example, Iran has already said that it has banned U.S. citizens, or will ban U.S. citizens from traveling in retaliation for President Trump banning Iranians from coming to the U.S. And if the United Arab Emirates were on that list, and if they decided to retaliate, I imagine there's a very large chance that those of us who are Americans here, would, for once, be experiencing on a much lower level still what some people from other countries who are trying to go to the U.S., some being legal residents, are experiencing as I speak. And so I'm not quite sure if I neatly put this video into one topic, but that's basically how I got funding to study abroad. There are awesome awards through the State Department. Again, we're in tumultuous political times, so unclear what there still be available. But I also know people who are here studying under a Boren Award right now, who have that and the Clinton Scholarship. And the Boren Award, it's an awesome one because the one requirement is that you go and work for the government afterwards. And again, like, it depends on whether or not you want to work for this government, but that's pretty cool because even though they don't guarantee you a job, you definitely get a leg up in applying to government jobs because you have been affiliated with the government and you have this award that requires you to work for the government. So it's a good way to almost get a leg up in your job search. So something that should be a requirement is also a benefit. And so again, like critical language scholarship, they pay for your flights and everything. That's that benefit. Gilman scholarship allows you to choose your program, whether or not you want to do like specifically an Arabic film program versus like a more general language program that others have, but you'll still learn like Arabic while you're there or something. Like, that's a benefit of the Gilman scholarship. And then the Clinton scholarship is specific to American University in Dubai, which I'd highly recommend. And then the Boren Award is one where I think they'll cover term time abroad, which I'm not sure others will. And I guess because of this heftier investment, they'll also require you to work for the government. But that's pretty good to have a good pathway to getting a set job after graduation. I think this video is a little too long, so I won't begin to talk about how I feel about Dubai. But so far, I've really enjoyed it, and it's been an incredible learning experience. And I think just returning to this idea of recognizing the political times I'm studying abroad in, it's just really interesting to me to study with students who literally, like, were in Syria 2 weeks ago. Like, that is their home. It's not of Syrian descent. It's like literally this is the life they lead. They're worried about their families. And I think interesting is a little trivializing, but I think seeing the strength they have is incredible. And I think seeing the kindness they have at a time where it would be their prerogative to just be bitter is a great testament to me, and I hope it will force me to continue to be aware of what is happening, even though I am closer to a lot of people who are influenced, but further from seeing what is actually happening, so able to put it out of my mind. So I may redo this video because it's so long, but until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.